Howdy, everyone. Come on in. If you're just joining us, we will get started in earnest in a little bit. The number or the decision doesn't come out till the top of the hour, but market's got a nice bounce. If you were in the session we just finished, I was scalping it long over there and actually caught a nice pop. I was right about to take profits on the spot where this spring just happened, and so I rode it up a bit more and got lucky. When that happens, you have to understand that you're getting lucky and it's not just some extraordinary skill you have that made that happen. Important point to embrace. We will, I'll do just an introduction to what this session's about. As we get a little bit closer to the decision, which is scheduled for the top of the hour and it's usually pretty much on time, and then we get the press conference 30 minutes later, so we get a half an hour or so of price discovery and fireworks. And what we'll do, assuming I like to play this news, quote unquote, news with a Z. I like to play it, but I only like to play it if we are at extremes. And right now we just popped right back up to the middle of everything. So, you want to see it at one end of the session range or the other, or get to them when whatever they release happens. And we probably will see that today. I won't be surprised at all if we do. Just again, for reference, this is what the 30-minute structural view looks like at this moment. And you can see this was the Globex session. This is the regular trading hours. We just traded off of this high volume node and came up here. You can see it over there on my dome on the right and left a little bit of a zero print there. It was aggressive. It was a really sharp move. We did put in a price projector at the bottom, so that was kind of a cool place to play long. You can see that sharp move right here. But basically, we just filled in right back up to value. Look at that. NQ just came right to its VWAP. ES is above it, but not by much. So it's a good spot. We should be able to get an interesting trade here, I think, if we can deviate a long way from where we are right now. And just for reference, this is all four of the indexes. And this kind of gives us a good view. See, ES came all the way back past its VWAP. NQ hasn't quite gotten to it. Look at YM below. Oh, it's up. God, ST2 and YM. Look at that. It's making new highs. So is ES now. How about that? Wow, regular trading hours highs up here. Hello, that's very interesting. What a crazy move to see right before the announcement. Very interesting. Anyway, so basically that's the play. Hopefully we will get whatever the price discovery that we get around the number. Hopefully it will push one or more of the indexes, hopefully all four of them, to one extreme or the other so that we can nibble. I like the idea of a long down here at the low that we were kind of doing before, although it wasn't all the way down there. It was in here. But down here, it gets much more interesting. So one thing also that I mentioned briefly in the session we just finished, the jigsaw session, but the range that you see on here of the 300, whichever way it's facing and whatever is going on, is typically a good range to watch on the dome. I was kind of showing examples of that, but we didn't have a chart. So like right now, the top of this is about 79, so right up in here, and the bottom of this is about 50, so right in here. So that gives you kind of a sense of what the statistical range is right now. And that's the first group of points that I watch, is the short-term range, but much rather get to one of the standard deviation kind of all session ranges to really play this idea, because you're just looking for an asymmetric trade. You're looking to get wherever it extremely gets to, it's stretched far enough that we can play it back into the middle, outside in. Or, if it goes to the middle and it aggressively starts going one way, inside out, sometimes I'll do those. But on news, I generally prefer to fade an extreme than try to trade toward anything. Because, I know where the extreme is. I don't know what else is going to happen. But, if you think about that for a second, right? I know where the extreme is. So, for example, if we get to the low down here on NQ, at 1191-ish or so, I know that's the low, and I know it's at SD2. So it's instantly framed for me what could happen from there. So to start nibbling long into that is interesting, and it gets more interesting the further away I get in terms of extremes. So that's kind of the thinking behind fading news like this. You don't want to try to predict what it's going to be. You don't want to predict the reaction. You'll never, you might get that right once or twice and you'll make a lot of money, but most of the time you'll get it vastly wrong. I mean, think about it now. The market is expecting a rate increase. So, what can the Fed really say in this decision? Obviously the press conference will shed light on some things, but what can they really say that's going to really shock the market? So, if we get to a place that's a recent extreme, why not try to nibble there? It's a useful metric for that extreme, And the other thing I like to do, this is the view here you're seeing is just today and 2 minutes. What I like to do is shift this exact same kind of view, but go out just what are the recent days? So if we do exceed either way, the high or the low of the current session, what have we done recently? So it's the same kind of, extreme standard deviation analysis. And, this gets very interesting because look where we are, we're trading here, but if I back up just a little bit, you can see the extremes of some of the previous days. This could get interesting a little further back. Let me blow it all the way up. You can see, going back a few days here. Let me just do ES on the far right. See, we had a big spurt up a couple of days ago. That was Friday, right? And then here's, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so look at the range extremes of Friday. Those are real interesting spots to kind of look at, 37.25, 37,100, look the other way. So that gives you another way of doing this. And that's what I do beforehand. I just kind of look at all these and I say, okay, I've got a decent idea what, extreme means. That's the purpose. What does extreme mean right now? And then go back to what's going on this moment. And we'll see if we get an interesting place to play. So that's pretty much the idea. It's a really simple idea. Most of my trade setups, I try to focus on really simple ideas. And, executing is hard enough when the idea is complicated. So, let's see if we get it. What you don't want to do on news days is you don't want to trade, in the middle of anything. You don't want to, try to buy support or resistance, from some level that you have on your chart. You can't do that because it's in price discovery. It can explore a real long way in either direction before it decides to respect anything like, quote unquote support or resistance. And that's why, we generally don't use those. It's supply and demand are useful. You can see that on a footprint chart. That's good context. But, just because a price level got bought a week ago, it doesn't mean it's going to get bought today after the FOMC decision. It's a completely different set of circumstances. One second. Are you coming to? All right, so where are we? We still have 4 minutes, so it's a good time to kind of clear your mind and stretch your brain and your body. Look at that. We just remember that big burp we just had up. Look where we're trading. We just retraced the whole thing perfectly. Again, this is why ranges are so powerful. Markets respect ranges, and sharp moves are often fadeable right back to the same spot in the range. You just have to decide if you can take enough heat. Because it might go a while before it does that. This one had a couple of sharp, the first sharp move, then it started to pull back, and they got another sharp move, and then it pulled all the way back. Look at that, literally to the tick where that sharp move started. So that just cracks me up when I see that. That's so predictable. And it's also such a great way to spook retail traders out of their positions by doing that. And, that's the effect it has. And if you can just be a little smarter than that, it can create really good entries for you. So that's a fun example. Welcome, everybody. I know we've got some guests that aren't regular TRG members. Welcome to all of you as well. Feel free to put any questions in the chat. We are going to get first the decision, and then we'll see the price discovery around that, as I've been describing for the last 10 minutes or so. And then the press conference happens at the bottom of the hour, and we'll let that start. and we'll see what happens. That usually creates some more volatility, and it's a lot of fun because there's some decent trades sometimes. And then we'll wrap up about the bottom, excuse me, the top of the next hour. So we'll wrap up around 12 on my clock, and it's just about to go 11 for the upcoming FOMC. And real quickly, I just want to note, if you look at a dome that has liquidity on it like this one, you'll see all the liquidity is going to get out of the way. Look at this. We're down to single digits on the inside bid and ask. Nobody's putting up, a big offer or a big bid here because we're about to get major information added to the market. So always respect that. This is a wrong time to have a trade on of any kind. But immediately after the information comes out, then sometimes, again, like I said, if you can catch an extreme, it can get very interesting. Do I reset the dome when the decision is announced? No, I won't need to. You'll notice it, Stephen. Yeah, it'll be really obvious when it happens. Trust me. We will go instantly into price discovery, and it will just, the odds that it's going to stay right around, 52 here in ES are, you could count them on one grain of sand. It will move just because of the thin liquidity, if for no other reason. So I could reset it, but it really won't matter. What I want to do is I want to let it show me an extreme. And right now we're right in the middle. So, we got to go up here or down here to get an extreme. So, it'll be really obvious that we're going to leave this area. And hopefully it'll be a really volatile one. Those are the most fun. And I used to try to jump in with limit orders at the extremes, but now I use market orders because, for this idea, if you get some slippage from a market order, it's not the end of the world. It's better than missing the whole trade, which TRG members have watched. There you go. Okay. So we just had something happen, obviously. See, we're going up really strongly. We just had a 20-point move up. 80 ticks, and now we just retraced the entire thing, and now we're back.
Smokes! And
now we have just gone 15 the other way. Yeah, this is crazy. So this is why you don't try to this. Yeah, isn't this a crazy one, JVC? It's wild.
This is especially crazy. My dome is auto following. It's up and down, up and down.
Yeah, I spread my auto centers out on NQ to 50 ticks, and it's 20 ticks on ES. Otherwise, it's just all over the place. Otherwise. So, and again, you don't want to try to trade this, although we are at an extreme in ES, but, obviously I'm not going to sell this extreme. Although if you'd done that the first time we were up here, you could have made 20 points, but this is just, you can't, even if you're right, getting out with your profit in this kind of movement is often impossible. I used to try to trade this, and, one time I had like $15,000 profit on in an NQ trade under these conditions. And just trying to take the profits, I ended up with $1,000. That's how fast the market can move under these conditions. So literally $14,000 of slippage. And, so you have to just let this play out. Ideally, we get to a real extreme, like up here at SD4, and we're almost there now. So this could get really interesting. Although, if you were at the previous session, you know that I like this as a long. I don't really like the short idea as much today. I'd much rather that we push down and I could buy the bottom of the range. Selling this up here is dangerous when we're coming up this aggressively. So let's just, let's let it play out. It's, the beauty of it is you don't have to trade it. You can kind of just watch and enjoy the show, which is one of the reasons I love doing these sessions on news announcements, just for no other reason. You can learn something just by watching it and observing the craziness. And so we're seeing a lot of good examples. So now, Stephen, to your question, now I might reset it just so I can kind of see if we're building any volume anywhere. Is this price holding? We just got sold really aggressively there, and now we're above it again. This is totally two-way. We're going up, but it's way too two-directional to try to go with it up. And, all we did was, we're up 1% now after being down about 1%. So we've just, bounced off of that. It's actually a reasonable range. It's starting to look potentially interesting to fade this up here short. It's starting to look interesting. We're back at big fat hole number 3,900. But, again, I just don't want to be the guy selling that if we keep going. So let's see if we can hold that spot and maybe get another shot at it further. If it comes up there again, I'm going to watch that. Maybe we'll play an ES short up there. But it looks like, you can see it got sold aggressively right here at 98. And then, we're well below that, but now it just got bought at 87. So now we've got a short-term range. This is what we were talking about in the Jigsaw class today. See that? Sold up here, bought here. We have a really good picture now of what the short-term range is. It's, we're trading in a pause at the highs. That could be a great place to get short, or it might be a pause for long. I like the idea of a short better. Let's see if we can blow through 0-0, maybe get short at 2 or something, maybe 5. Park an order up there, let it burp up to me. That might be fun to try. Let's try that. And it's going to go the other way. So people are starting to, be thinking the way I am. You can see we're at the top of the 300 LRC. So, this is a decent place to be fading, but you don't want to be fading it down here where it's getting bought. This is only a 10-point range that we have. So if you're going to try it, you either have to get filled on a burp up through the ledge, or you got to try to trade right here, which is a little dangerous, like right on that spot. I just put one there to demonstrate it. Let's see if we can maybe get a fill and it pushes up. Maybe I'll get a better fill on the idea and see what happens. Because, now whatever was in the decision is in the decision. And now the market's just going to digest it until Powell starts talking. So I wouldn't mind getting a little nibble short here if I can get a fill up there. Let's see if we can. Maybe put one right on the other side of that volume. You can see there's some people doing that. See the liquidity stepping up right there. That's what the white is. The whiter it gets, the more liquidity. I'm mapping that off the other dome that I showed you that has liquidity on it. But I'm not trading on that dome because I'm in a different account. So this is the one I'm talking about. You can see the liquidity's on here. That's what's producing this map. I think I might get filled on my short here in a second. Nope. Close. Let's push these further up. In case these fill. I don't want to end up with too many of them. You can see this spot also got sold here at 95. So the odds I'm going to get filled up here are pretty slim, but maybe we'll get a little burp. You can see it's not pulling back that much, so it may have some more gas in the tank to go up. I haven't looked at a footprint lately. We could do that right now. That wouldn't be a horrible idea. Let's see. No UB up there. It's got a big pullback. It is getting bought down here. Look at those. It's all trading on the red. That's trading on the bids. So it is likely to get another shot. I might get a fill up here. So we'll see. Come on and get me. This will be one little fun trade. If we can get, I'm basically trying to get filled right up here. You can see, what right in near that peak, and maybe it'll push a little higher and I can get, a couple more a little higher up. That's what I'm trying to do.
BFRN 3900 is looking nice.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's it is big fat whole number, and we cleaned up all your old single prints, JVC.
Yep, I know. Yeah. Without me, because I didn't want to do anything until post FOMC, and they didn't wait.
Well, you know what? The market waits for no one.
Yep.
A wise man said that once. And clearly, everybody and his pet rock have the same idea I have here, and none of us are getting filled up here. So let's see if maybe we get a pop. We might be getting it right now. Here we go. Come on. There's a little bit of liquidity traded there. All right. We might get a little push. Come on. We can do it. I'll try it in NQ if we get much further up. Look where the top of NQ is. It's way up here. So that's why I'm trying this particular idea in ES, just because we're already, basically ES is trading like NQ right now because we're so thin. So God, I'm tempted to push that first one down just a little bit right there. And maybe we can get, we got filled. Cool. All right, let's see if we can scalp back the other way. So I'm short 96. We'll take profit at 93.75. I tried 94. Let's go for 2 points here real fast. Oh, it tapped me. It just traded there. And all right, now we have 2. This will be a little easier to manage here. See if we can get a couple more. Now the high volume is below me, so we should be able to scalp out of this. I'm short from 97 on 2, and I'll take, there we go. It filled at 95, so 2 points on 2, just like that. So that's a good example of the kinds of stuff you can do at these extremes. Notice how long I had to wait up there to get filled. It looked like, it's recharging, it's going to go again, and then it just did. You have to stake your idea out in advance. And, that's in TRG what I tell people over and over again. I call that, let it come to you. What is the spot where you'd really like to get that trade? Put your order there. Let the puppy come to you. hold the treat out and squat down and let him come over and nibble your treat. And that was a perfect example. Again, this isn't how much money can I make in front of you. This is showing you techniques on how to trade around, economic news with a Z, because it's not news. It's nonsense, but it moves the market around, so we might as well scalp it, right? That's my view. Ooh, we're up here again. Look at this. Let's see if we can catch a break of this high. Maybe one right before it, at 99, if it's going to break. Nope, pushed right back down as I was trying to do that. Oh, well, maybe we'll get another bite at that. We'll leave that there. Awesome, Amy. That's phenomenal. Good job. That's fun to do. It's really confidence building to be able to pass. That's a hard one to pass, the Ignite. You have to really be aggressive. Awesome. Good job. 6K. Ka-ching. See if we get another fill up here. I think we will. It looks like it wants to go up a little more. We still have some time to the press conference. I probably want to go flat before the press conference, just so if something he pauses on or hesitates on or whatever freaks everybody out one way or the other, I'll be able to react to that rather than, the echoes of this reaction, because this reaction's running out of gas. We still want to try to get short, maybe right under that volume. See what I'm doing? The liquidity keeps jumping up here. So there's lots of people trying to fade this. It's, it's just a big enough move that it's fadeable, It's like Wall Street, Why do you want to wreck that company? Because it's wreckable. This is fadeable. That's why I'm fading it. There's no other reason. Look how far extreme we are. What are the odds it's going to blow through, big fat whole number at 3,900 and just keep going? They're very, very slim. At least before the press conference, they're very, very slim. Whatever was in the decision is now more or less priced in. Look how, we're in a nice tight little range. So let's fade that range. We'll fade the top of it. Not interested in buying the bottom of this one, but I might buy the bottom of NQ if we were to burp down there. Absolutely, Amy. Yeah, you know what? You can gamble when you're getting funded and then go back to being disciplined in the account. That's the beauty of these sales. That's how I treat a lot of the sales. I play them hard and I figure, for $30 or $50 or whatever, sometimes they're $20. That's worth playing. And then if I get the funded account, I decide if I want to keep it or not, because I already have a bunch of them. And, I copy trade. And so it's, I want to have the right size and the right ones at the right people. So, would you ever anchor the VWAP to the news? No, I do. People do that, Paul. But I don't. I use two VWAPs. One of them is the regular session, which is the one you're seeing on my dome. And at the moment, but it's it's not even close. And then the one that I show you on here is the Globex one. So this is 24 hours, and the one that's on here that's just nowhere near us, it's all the way down. That's down here. That's RTH, the one that's on my dome. But no, I don't want them to converge on now, because it's an extreme of them that we're playing off of. That the fact that we got up to SD4 here and SD3.5 was, that we are now, 50 points away from the VWAP. That's why I really liked the short up there. That's one of the reasons. It's an extreme again. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not using. Somebody else asked me about that, Jeffrey. I'm not installing any updates that are betas. I wait till somebody else tests them, because for me it's mission critical. I do it for a living and I teach on it. So I let somebody else. I don't need the update. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. So I'll wait a couple weeks, month, till it's either out of beta or until they've eliminated any front end errors, because sometimes there are some. So yeah. All right. So we did not get filled up there. You can see I still have my orders up there. I doubt we're going to get filled. We're getting halfway toward the press conference. So now it's kind of like, well, what do you want to do here, Jeff? I don't know that I want to get filled up there again, because we shouldn't really get up there again. That trade happened already, but we're getting a bit of a bounce around 87 again, which got bought once already. Nah, this is a good spot to cancel those, because that was a good idea and it played out. I just didn't get filled. But, if it goes up there now, that's suspicious, because we're getting a little too close to the bottom of the hour. So anyway, hey, I'm gonna head to update Ninja to connect to the Apex. Yeah, we're not talking about Ninja. We're talking about the Jigsaw update. Yeah, I don't do business with Apex anymore. I'm not funded. I have been funded there, but I closed them all out because I don't like the way that there's no micros parity. They only give you like 3 micros instead of 80 or whatever you should be able to get on certain size accounts. So, and yeah, they have their own server now, which there's pros and cons, but that should give more stability for those of you funded there. That Apex is a decent company. I'm not criticizing them. It's just not my home at the moment. I will be right back, JVC. I have a guest that's just shoving off. So we have time till the bottom of the hour when the press conference starts. So I'm just going to run upstairs and say goodbye, and I will be back in 2 minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay, he's back. Yeah, I agree with your comment, Jeffrey. I want it as simple as possible, but anyway. Well, we're getting another push down here. This could get interesting again, but obviously you don't want to play now because the the press conference is going to start at the bottom of the hour. And I've been watching this for a long time, and those of you that are closer to my age might remember, like when Alan Greenspan used to come out of the Fed meetings, they used to bet, the futures used to bet based on which hand he was carrying his briefcase in, and was he wearing his red tie or his blue tie, and there's a million indicators around that, as a matter of fact, too. It's pretty funny, but the point is that there's a lot of just silliness that goes on around this stuff. So, you can see we're kind of going back into price discovery. I'll reset the domes now. So, don't get caught up in the silliness. If we get to an extreme and you can, fade it and manage the risk, do it, thinking in bets, it's a really good trade. So, just think of it that way. Real simple. What's the recent range? Can I play that recent range? And, the high was fadeable. Now there's really not a good setup in front of us. We're too close to the middle again relative to where we were. So we need
if I had been Greenspan, just to screw with everyone, I'd have walked in with my briefcase on my arms, just carrying it in both arms.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny. I don't think he's the kind of guy that has that much of a sense of humor.
No, I don't either. I know.
If you ever watched him testifying, on CNBC, or he's like one of the driest guys on the planet. Yep. It's just like. What I used to do when I needed to take a nap was I would put on his testimony. It was So yeah, it just Powell is not nearly as entertaining. Bernanke was kind of interesting to watch, but
Bernanke.
Bernanke. So here we are kind of drifting back down toward, guess what? Value, surprise, surprise. So maybe we'll get a shot at another extreme. God, I'd love to be able to, I'd love for something he says to push us to the other extreme, like SD2, call it 38.25, 38.30, the lowest 38.33 right now, anywhere near there. I would love to have that happen because I bet we could nibble long down there. Also, don't forget, there's a very common pattern to trade around the FOMC. Whatever happens today, if we close, after a big move like we just did, if we close up here anywhere, if it's one directional at all on the FOMC day, in other words, the next day, that will almost always reverse. If you go back and look at this over the last, 20 years, you'll see it's a very common pattern. A lot of people do that. They fade whatever happens today, tomorrow. So that's worth understanding too. But obviously, that's not going to give us a setup this morning. Let's see. I see it. Yeah, Liz and the lettuce. Exactly. That's so true. In the Blue Ridge Mountains. How nice. Heading to the Smokies. That's beautiful country there. You're in a hotel in Cambria? Are you kidding me, Sebastian? I live in Cambria. I'm still here right now. I'm in the process of getting ready to move, but I'm still here. Right now, I am in Cambria. In fact, if I show you I'll show you my personal Facebook page. And I just posted a picture, yesterday or the day before. Cambria is beautiful. Particularly, it's nice, quiet weekends, week. You can tell where my mind's at. Here we go. That is my morning hike view. This was a Monday morning hike. And you can see that's if you came up Route 1. Route 1 is right there. You can see it through the gap. And party at Jeff's house. No. Oh, Moonstone Beach. Yeah, I was up there for seafood 2 mornings ago. Andrew, I am moving up to Washington State somewhere for a while. I'm a nomadic person, so I've never lived anywhere more than 5 years. I've lived all over the country, all over the world. And I've always wanted to live in Southern Canada and Washington State. A good friend of mine lives in Washington State. I was up there trading from there last fall, if you remember, in Tacoma. So I'm heading up there and I'm going to just kind of explore. I don't know exactly where I'm going to end up yet, but somewhere in the Pacific Northwest or Southern Canada, maybe in Banff or Whistler. Beautiful, beautiful areas. We'll see. That has, it's funny. There's actually a genetic study around this. A percentage of the population have a gene for being nomadic. If you Google it, you will find that's true. And I've never been tested for that particular gene, but I have a group of friends and we all are similar in our behavior and we all think we must have that gene because it's just, and there's a genetic reason for it in evolution. In every tribe, in every group of people, if somebody wandered, they would contact other tribes and they would, find new genes and new advantages. And so, but if everybody wanders, then that's not good because, it's hard to keep a crowd together when everyone's going different directions. So, in general, you need a solo wanderer, a wandering ascetic like me. And then you need leaders, that can lead the tribe in groups. Those are generally a genetic difference, believe it or not. And if you Google that, you will find it to be true.
I am clearly lacking the wandering gene.
The overcast weather up north or in Cambria? I've lived on the Central Coast. I lived in Montecito before this, so I'm used to the fog every morning. I love it. Yep, I know that seafood restaurant exactly. That's good food. I almost posted a picture from there. Yeah, the Central Coast where I am, Andrew, is really, it's like that anyway. I have, you can see in those pictures, I have morning fog, low clouds every morning, and it was like that in Montecito and Santa Barbara. And I grew up in Palos Verdes, which is also like that, just on the other end of LA. So, and again, I just, it always just appealed to me to keep moving. Yeah, I know, JVC, you're the total opposite. You're the establish a nest and stay in the nest.
Never, ever leave.
I have a friend like that who lives in the desert. She's been in the same place. And she grew up there. She went to high school there, and she's been in other places around the world, but she always ends up back there. And she's really happy. It's her base. It's her home. It's the center of her vibrations. I get that. So let's see, 8 more minutes. Indigo moon every night. Oh, how nice. God, if I was feeling a little more social, I'd say let's grab a beer or something. But I have kind of a turmoil going on here. My two good friends of mine are splitting up, and I've been kind of with both of them in different days. And the one I was just saying goodbye to is the man, a good friend, one of my mentors and one of my best friends. And he's been here for the last 2 days. He just left, and then his dogs are going to be here, and it's a very difficult situation, and I'm helping them before I go. So. One of the places I'm going to look, yes, Banff has a great mountain film festival. One of the places I'm going to look at is Bellingham, Washington, which is a little college town right on the border with Canada. And it's relatively reasonable. It's one of the more reasonable parts of Washington. There's a couple other reasons that are noteworthy, Andrew. Washington State has no income tax, and that's useful. Particularly, as a trader, there's a lot of ways to shelter your income. Futures are already tax advantaged, and all kinds of subchapter S and LLC games you can play with your structure. But having no state income tax, California's is high. Ours is like 11% max, I think. So it's a good idea to not be here for someone like me, who ultimately will be an old person on a fixed income. But at the moment, I don't ever envision retiring, traditional retirement. But this is what I love to do. I'll do it till I can't do it anymore. And at that point, I'll probably off myself because I don't know what else I'll do. I like to hike and do all kinds of things outdoors, but I couldn't just do that. Something's got to challenge my mind. And, trading is the ultimate meritocracy. This is, your earnings are only limited by you and what you learn and how much, practice you get. And so that's just a continual challenge, and I love that. Plus, teaching it is a blast because every now and then you can change somebody's life, and somebody gets good at it, and that's really life changing. There's a couple of TRG members that have started withdrawing money for the first time, and I just got so excited to hear that. That makes my decade, to be able to take money out of the market, to learn how to do that. That's, that immediately puts you in the top 5%, the top 1%. It's extraordinarily unusual to take money out of the market. The get rich quick people standing in front of Lamborghinis will try to convince you that anyone can do it with their indicator, but that's not reality. We all know that. Yeah, can I grab the water rights? Exactly. Yeah, water rights here. People buy houses and knock them down and move the meter just to get a water meter, Sebastian. That the house right next door to me is like that. It's an old A-frame cabin, and they rent it out as an Airbnb. And if it got sold, it would be a total knockdown. And it's the most valuable part of that property is the water meter, because you can't get water. Yeah, exactly. It's no new water meters are being issued because there's just not enough water. So no new building, no construction. There's some old grandfathered in permits for construction that are still going on, but that's it. Oh yeah, there's cheap land everywhere. You see, when I drive down my street, there's a dozen lots for sale, and they all say we're in the water line. I'm like, well, good for you. The last meter that came up was 15 years ago. So good luck with that. It's a beautiful area, but I'm also ready for another change. I like change. I like having the deer walk up to my front door and the wild turkeys, and it's a very beautiful place. But I don't mind going to a concert every now and then. I'd rather not have to drive an hour to go to the hospital, which I have to do now. And because of some of my medical conditions, I have to do that a lot more than I would like. So that's another reason to be a little closer. Santa Barbara was a good compromise because they have really good medical care. And but it's still kind of rural in the hills in Montecito where I lived. That's just absurdly expensive. So anywho, let's see. Is the press got 3 minutes to the press conference? So this will be fun. Again, welcome guests. Welcome everybody. We're just kind of chit-chatting, waiting to see what wisdom nuggets Powell's going to share. People ask me, do you watch the video? No, I do not watch the press conference because I don't want to be colored by what is being said. I just want to see what is the reaction in the price to it. Yeah, I've been around where bears were before. In Montecito, we had mountain lions. And, every now and then, if I'd go out early in the morning, I'd see a mountain lion. And that was kind of cool. Yep, Sebastian. If you're interested in pictures of my deer and my turkeys, in addition to Facebook, I don't have a lot of friends on Facebook because I kind of keep it just people I actually know, not like everybody. But on Instagram, which is my Instagram is public, it's Marston Lake, and I post my kitties and my whatnots, but also lots of Cambria pictures. And there's some pictures of the deer here and of the turkeys. And the pelicans, where you are. This was right near where you are up there on Moonstone Beach. Have you seen the pelicans going crazy out there? They herd the fish in and then eat them, Sebastian. That's fun to watch. Sing and walk backwards. The singing is interesting. I hadn't heard that one. And let's see. Yeah, whoops, that's not the one. There's one of my local deer. You can see a little deer video there on walking down the street. So anyway, all right, what's going on? Press conference is about to start. Let's watch the market here and see what happens. Yep, there are condors. True, that is true. Have a tune ready. Wow. That's interesting. I saw a video of a guy encountering a bear recently, and he walked backwards and said, "Go away, bear, go away," and was, backing up against trees, and he was doing everything right, and the bear was pretty far away, but it just kept following. It was a relatively young bear, like a juvenile. It just looked like it was curious. It didn't look like it was really being aggressive, and the video goes on for like 15 minutes, and then finally the bear backed off, and he was like, "This is the one time I don't have my bear spray with me," and it can happen pretty much anywhere on a hiking trip. So, all right. Well, guess what? We're all the way at the other end of the range again. That's interesting. Do we want to try to fade that up here? Why not? I was a little late. We got up to 4. I just took 99.75. See if we can maybe get a little better entry. Otherwise, we'll scalp this quickly, take one off right away, maybe catch a runner down. Okay, so now I'm short from 99 on a one lot, and it's dropping, so I can protect it. A take profit stop at 97, and we'll just let it go. So we got our extreme trade as we were talking there. It just happened, so I took it. I mean, what can I say? I'm going to protect this a little bit more. We might get another bite at that apple. Now it's still dropping. So now I'm short from 99. I'm going to take profit stop at 96, and I just got hit. So 3 points. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. 3 points. 12 ticks. That's a winner to me. And I'm going to park a few more orders up here. See if whatever, why that happened right at the beginning of the press conference, I have no idea. Maybe he had on the correct tie, but, clearly now it's really dropping. So, I could have been a lot more aggressive there. It was the top of the range, but, I don't know why that happened. I just want to take advantage of it. So for that reason, I always nibble in. And, the further away it gets, I get a little more aggressive, but I never am aggressive on my first bite because, the first bite is sometimes wrong. I want to leave myself room for error. This technique benefits from not going in aggressively right away. You can scale in. So, I talk to my cats all the time too. But I have one of the Kimmy the niece Kimmy the Chi. She's a talker. She's one of the ones you can have a conversation with, which is actually kind of fun. And my buddy has Orientals, and those are real. They're like Siamese. They never stop talking. Oriental short hairs. And so whenever I'm around his cats, I can talk to them for hours, and they know me. They come up and bite me like cats do. So we're still, again, a really good spot to fade the top. We got another bite at that. Look at the wick up there. That's a classic example of what a price rejector looks like. A number of you asked me that. I know what it looks like on a footprint. What's a price rejector look like on equivolume? Like that. It goes up, it takes out a recent high, and then makes a wick. Just boom. So, and then just for fun, I'll show you the footprint version of it. And, it just left a zero print in the middle there, a little bit of aggression, but, not a perfect place to fade. But, again, it's just a quick reaction you're looking for. Okay, here it comes. Let's see if we can get another fill up here, maybe grab a couple more higher up. And we'll take one there, maybe take one right there on 0-0. Nope, doesn't want to come up to me yet. I'm going to leave the total trades up. I'm going to reset the inside one, the current trades in Jigsaw speak, and just keep an eye on where there are buyers and sellers, because I can see since I reset where they are, but it's been moving around a lot. So, okay, that spot just got sold and we burped above it. Now we're back at it. So this is worthy of a whole new volume delta profile. Yeah, absorption right here. Will that hold or will that get sold? Let's watch that right there. We're seeing bid side absorption, so we should get a pop up here like that. It's just not getting anywhere. So those guys that are buying there are going to get run over, and it's going to push down like that. There it goes. So again, the short-term traded volume can tell you a lot about the story of what's happening as I'm kind of narrating it here. And again, we talked about this in Jigsaw class earlier. We will discuss this in upcoming Jigsaw classes. We'll all also be talking about this view and the traded volume in the drills class, which is Friday. So ooh, I love Bengals, Calvin. They're very, very cool. The guy that has the Oriental short hair has one Bengal also. And it's, yeah, very, very cool cats. They're very active, and you really have to interact with them. He walks his Bengal and his short hairs on a leash, and they're toilet trained. They're really smart. They're great cats. And the Bengal's kind of like the leader of the pack because it's the biggest, strongest, tallest, very cool cats. Well, will we get another shot at this trade? Probably not. But the top of the range is a little farther up now, so I probably don't want that one there. The 0-0 one is still worth playing. That would be right about here. And the range is a little bit above that. So a fill on any of these or all of these four would be good. That's clearly exhaustion up there. So let's park our posterior up there and see if it comes up to us and fills us. Again, let it come to you when you're doing this stuff. This is, ES is trading like NQ, so I'm trading ES and I'm treating it like NQ. There's liquidity up there. We traded up there before. Let's let it come to us, and it's a decent asymmetric spot to play some more. Okay, here comes some buyers. Whoa, they're coming up aggressively. This could be a good trade here. I'm going to hit the market right there and take one because that came up so fast. It was too tempting not to try to grab one going the other way here. And we'll pick off maybe a $20 bill. Okay, now we have a 2 lot. Looks like we're going to fill on the rest of these, which is cool. So whatever he said, they like it. I'm going to push these two a little farther away. And I have a 3 lot. I'm going to take profits pretty fast on it. So you'll see me do that in a second. Maybe we'll scale into it a little bit more. I'm prepared to do that up here. But there we go. There's 1, 2, 3 filled. And we got, let's see, I was short from there. We got 7 more points on those last 3. So let's see again. Let's see if this breaks the high, takes out the ledge, and I can get the trade again. Let it come to you. Don't just keep doing it in the same spot. And, the range moved up a bit. And then look where it turned, exactly where the top of the range was. And that's why I parked those orders up there. So that's a really good example. This is fun. We're getting really good examples of the news trades. I'm loving this, JVC. This is awesome. Are you scalping it or are you just watching me?
I tried a couple things, but I'm not in sync today.
Yeah.
I was eyeballing it short for all the single prints that just filled right now. They're just, boom, they're gone.
Right here.
And the push up freaked me out and I jumped out of the way. And then of course it went zooming down and I missed it. So.
Yeah. That's why the instinct has to be when you get the push up to fade the sharp push, because then you get a reversal like this. And, now I'm no longer in the trade now, obviously, but you definitely don't want to try it here because now look at all the buying right there. Look at the VWAP. The VWAP is right there. So they bought the VWAP. That's all they did. We traded back to value. Let me put that view up and it got bought. Shocker. Look at that. Right to the VWAP right here. The VWAP is at 38.60. Remember I said a minute ago, it was 50 points away. We just hit it. That's 200 ticks of ES, guys. That's how good an opportunity there is. But yeah, it's not easy to do. No criticism of you, JVC. You got to practice this to get good at it. Your instincts and your reactions have to be the opposite of what you think is right. Like when it shoots up like that, your instinct has to be, okay, that I'm going to sell that, and it's unique to this condition when we have this kind of, news volatility. You're looking to play the extremes. And when it gets there, you just have to have the confidence that an extreme will remain an extreme. And it's usually pretty obvious when that's not happening. What we need to do to determine if it's not happening, if an extreme is not an extreme, just go take a look at the volume. What happened up there? We got all the way up there. We ran stops. So there's stops up there on the last one, which makes sense because we saw that happening. And there's just no traded volume up there. It's all down here. So, it makes sense that we would reject that area ultimately. So, and again, it's an area. You can't just stake out a price. You just saw me do that. I'm using the regression to give me a sense of where the area is, but you're never going to get it exactly right. You got to get used to that this should be done in micros and that you need to scale in a little bit and out a little bit because you'll never get it just right. And if you say, oh, no, I'm wrong, and you get out of the way, that'll be exactly where it turns.
Yep.
So, yep. Wow, Amy, good job. 200 ticks in MES for contracts. Awesome. Good job. Yeah, I'm doing really well with this today. And this account, I posted in the pit. But if you want to see just what's been going on, this is all morning. But, this is my second computer. I didn't trade on it at the beginning of the morning, but you can see I've had no losers and I'm up $1,300 there. And these are all MNQ trades. I'm just blocking out what accounts they're in because I am doing some copying and I don't want to list all my account numbers in front of you. But, you guys see them sometimes. My funded accounts, I'm not really bashful about that. So anyway, and again, in this instance, I'm using Jigsaw, the bridge to Ninja. I'm copying through the bridge in Ninja, but that allows me to execute on Jigsaw, which is as you've seen, I just really like being able to execute on Jigsaw. It just really gives me the ability to be really precise. Anyway, so again, welcome to our guests. Welcome to TRG members. I'm gonna start wrapping up. I said the session would go till noon because I was afraid we might not get a good example of what a news reaction trade looks like, but we've actually had several good examples. So I feel like we accomplished our mission, and I was able to show you an example of how I use the 300 LRC. And again, for those of you that use the LRCs, leave it on 5 seconds. It's 300, 75, and 25. Those are the three. And it gives you a really good sense of the short-term range and then what's happening, as we're turning within it. I no longer modulate those, but, to longer timeframes. I keep it pegged on 5 seconds and these 3 timeframes for the LRCs. And it's just 2 standard deviations either way. That's all we're doing. So real simple. Sum of squares, statistical analysis of the range. That's all. Let the range tell us where to trade, like it just did twice, there and there. So anyway, I think, we're going, it's 45, actually we're at the hour right now for the session, and I've accomplished what I wanted to. So I think I'm going to start wrapping up. If there's questions or, we need to stick around more, we can definitely do that, and I will be happy to address them. But, I feel like I'll just be repetitive if I just keep explaining the same thing over and over again. It's not a complicated equation. Look for extremes and then work the range, particularly at the extremes. That's the sweet spot. Are there any questions? Anybody? Guests? I know we have a few guests as TRG members. Thank you, Fitzroy. I think this was a fun one. We caught a really good example of extremes. We got all the way up to SD3 up there, 3.5, and we talked about cats. That's always a good day, right? Right, JVC?
Always.
Okay, so I don't see any about. In case someone's typing a question or something, I'll wait a couple minutes. We'll wrap up at quarter of, so 4 more minutes. So that way, I'm a massive dog lover. If you looked at that very same Instagram that I had up, I have Alice, the Aussie Doodle, she's here right now. I'll see if I can get a current picture. Where are you, Alice?
I always call total bullshit on the whole cat person, dog person. No.
Yeah, no, I'm a total dog person. This is my favorite animal on the planet and the smartest dog in the universe. Alice, the Aussie Doodle. She's so, I love dogs. I'm in everything. I love any animal as long as it Animals are better than people. All animals. Doesn't matter if it's a spider.
Yeah, the human animal is questionable a lot of the time.
Suck,
but
exactly. Oh, she's a total sweetie. And then her brother is Dozer the Doodle, and this is Dozer Doodle. You can see this is in my office. There's my little exercise weights while I'm trading. He's my buddy. He's here right now. He's out in the yard chasing turkeys. So
hope he doesn't catch one. That could end badly.
Yes, exactly. And I have access to horses and all kinds of stuff. So no, I'm a huge animal lover. There's Dozer. This is my other kitty. This is Durian the cat in her little cat house. Anyway, all right. I'm going to go ahead, and another picture of Dozer Doodle and all kinds of other animals. I am very big on animals. This is another dog buddy. I have lots of niece and nephew animals. You can see here's a picture of my neighborhood deer. There you go, Sebastian. There's the deer. That's just down the street from me. There's a lady that lives there that feeds them, so they hang out in front of her, which you shouldn't do, but you know. Anyway, Checo, exactly. Okay, everybody, fun session. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you for coming. Thank you, guests. Next thing on TRG tomorrow, we have a couple of Lee's structural sessions. The fishing trip is always fun. So Definitely. Join us for that. Educational and fun at the same time. More bang for your buck.
It's a twofer.
It's a twofer, yes. Anyway, thanks everybody. Enjoy the volatility today. Remember the setup for tomorrow. That if we get a really exaggerated move at, we close one end to the other of this big range, that could be a good fade for tomorrow. What's a twofer? When you get 2 for 1, Andrew, when they say buy one, get one free, that's a twofer.
I think that's the joke. What's a twofer? Oh, it's well, actually, never mind. There's a dirty joke with that one. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Let's not do the dirty jokes. Donna's here. We don't want to do the dirty jokes. We have ladies present, JVC.
Yeah.
I know Maria will tell the dirty jokes, but
her kids will tell them to her first.
That's true. Well, if you have kids, then yeah, it's always like that.
They get them all first.
All right, everybody, have a good one. We will see you bright and early tomorrow for the fishing events, structural events. Otherwise, have a good afternoon. I'm going to go for a nice long trip. I don't think you're a prude, Donna. I'm just respecting that you are more conservative.
He was considering you a lady, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I was being considerate of you, saying that you're a lady. Exactly. I respect that. I'm not making fun of you. Anyway, I'm going to go take the doodles for a little jog, and we will be out of here.
All right. Bye,
everybody.